Did you get the light of the, yeah, this is the light of the yeah. With the light and attack, I compared attack that just holds up, painting her. I compared them to all the people in the country that were
And you can pass them out too. Oh, you want to?
Yeah, because I think I all those things before I think.
Okay. All right, well, beyond this.
But you announced before that I'm on board.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, whichever one you had.
Okay. And then I started here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, you want me to go ahead?
yeah, and then we'll get started.
Everybody knows I'm Booker's little brother. That's all right. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Same father, different mother, as he would say. But here is a poem. And I told him since I've done a little more of this in teaching and reading and so forth, he thought then I should read this by Lori Ubo. Lori, who's here with us tonight. In the red, yeah. It's entitled Rescue. Now, this is the first time I've read it, so now that I am broken and dysfunctional, I have been abandoned and thrown away, tossed into an old cardboard box like a child's unwanted doll, walled in by feelings of loneliness, rejection, and betrayal. I remain confined in a makeshift coffin, dark and lifeless. I wonder what or if I deserve anything. Yet I lie in waiting for someone who cares. But then Jesus lifts the box. He shakes it. I rattle inside, the flaps peel back. I blink up from the bottom, blinded by sudden brightness. He smiles, gentle as morning light, and reaches in with a careful hand to gather my scattered pieces. Patiently, he fits my fragments together, sealing my cracks with tenderness until I am whole once more. The meshing and the bending, the becoming begins as my Savior holds me, not like something rescued, but something treasured. Lord, you will.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right, there we go. Well, figure we'll start with something a little lighthearted because the topic we're going to talk about it may get a little heated, and you'll know as we begin. So, but first, before we get started, I just want to welcome everybody, and I'm glad y'all are here tonight on this Wednesday. So we're going to get started here, and tonight we're going to be talking about the tongue and the power of the tongue. And it's kind of, I'm going to tell y'all, this week it has been a challenge, and the power of the tongue was definitely tested my way. So we're going to talk about it tonight. So before we get started, y'all already know the deal. If y'all got something that beeps, chirps, or makes it interesting, one of those songs, if you would, just put it on silence for the next 35 minutes. And I don't know if we'll finish this one tonight, but if we don't, we're gonna do it next week because this is a topic that needs to be talked about because there's a lot going on, y'all. So to start out first, And welcome everybody online. Definitely appreciate y'all. I just got a question about to ask a couple people. Now y'all know we have our tongue right here. It's a small member, right? And y'all know it's small, but it is so powerful.
It is deadly.
Yes, powerful and deadly. And the same tongue you can use, you can bless people with it, and you can also curse them with the same tongue. So, just a question for the class, how many times have you regretted speaking an unkind word? How many?
You said how many times?
Yes.
Maybe we can't count that high.
I can't think.
That's it. So, you know, if we'll all be honest, we all spoke those unkind words. And the thing about words is once they go out, they can't come back, y'all. And I've had words speaking to me where the person not even on this earth anymore. And it still affects me, you know, because those words, they are powerful. So we have to be really careful with our words. And I'm really intentional about the words that I use because I know people, they listen. And it was a story that came out this weekend. Y'all already know I don't really get into a lot of politics, but anytime you see supposed to be the leader of the country just spewing out all these hateful words, we have a problem, you know, and he's supposed to be representing us, so we have to be really careful from the top all the way to the bottom. And the next one is, what is the source of our words?
Well, obviously, it's the mind.
It is. The source of our words is our mind. And it's not so much the mind, I mean, you know, not the words, it's what's on people's mind. Because people are going to speak what's on their mind. And then a lot of times when people, they get angry at you, they're going to speak how they really feel about you. And I've experienced that. So words are so powerful, you know, and we're going to jump into the Bible in a minute. And the next one, I want y'all to remember, and the source of our words is our thoughts. Just remember, somebody is always watching and always listening, all the time. Even if you think they're not, they remember those words. Y'all remember growing up and y'all had kids? Our kids remember the words we talk. So we have to be careful the words we speak to our kids and also the words we speak with each other. I remember it was a situation back in my hometown. I ain't gonna say it, but they had a church split on the color of the carpet. Because the color of the carpet, and it was some angry words said there because that's what people really thought. So even in the body, we have to be really careful of the words that we speak. And the next one, this is a big one here. How do families act at family reunions / funerals? Do y'all think some words be exchanged? And a lot of times those words are because people are grieving and they just acting out, and then once you put that word out, you can't get it back. And I've seen family bust up because of just simple words, y'all. So we just have to really, really be careful on that. So today it will be an interesting class. So if we don't finish it today, we're gonna finish it next week. So let's start with number one. Slide number one. We're talking about the tongue. Let's turn over to, everybody got y'all Bibles? Let's turn over to James chapter 1, verse 26. James 1:26. The Bible says, if any man among you seem to be religious and bridle not his tongue, but deceiving his own heart, his religion is what? It's in vain. So you have to have that self-control, especially if you're in leadership. You have to have self-control. That's one of the qualities.
Another word for vain in some translations is empty.
Empty, yes.
Your religion is empty.
It's empty. That means it's worthless. So y'all see an illustration where the lady, she has the phone. Did you hear? Not, now don't tell anyone. Y'all know people, they love gossip and running and telling stuff. And I'm taking this class, I'm about a month and a half into it. It's called Accurate Thought. And one of the things they say before you look at something or just spread it, number one, is it true? And then, is it helpful to even spread it if it's true? And how will it affect the person? See, that's what we have to really think about. And right now, with the way society is going, anybody with one of these things right here, they can just get up there and just say any kind of stuff with no recourse and no consequences. And it's nothing done about it. So we have to be really careful of that, because it is side effects of that. They can last for generations after generations after generations.
And we find it coming from both political parties.
Oh, yes. And you know, I remember growing up, I respect the politicians, but now you can't even, they get up there and they be in session and they be, all kind of words be flying.
Yeah.
And it's recorded, y'all. So you even have to watch politicians. Yes, sir.
We've got a new dimension now. It's, you don't even have to say anything bad. Somebody can just put your mouth, your voice into something and make it have profanity all in it. They'll think it's you that did it.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, yeah, you still gotta try not to, but yeah, there's just hardly any control over anything anymore.
Nope. And I remember, you know, it was funny too, because one time I was teaching a class out there in the auditorium, and one guy, he was in the back and he was filming me. And you know, I saw him filming me, but he had it out that I said, baptism is not necessary to be saved. So he had edited what I was teaching, and people, they looking like, did you say that? I say, no, but I'm gonna tell you, it looks so realistic with this AI. A lot of stuff you have to verify.
Yeah.
You know, because it can call you, now they got the stuff where they can call you on the phone and it sounds just like one of your relatives.
Yeah.
Call you on the phone, hey, I'm in jail, can you send me some money? I say, no, call me. We'll send you no money. But people, they fall for that stuff, so we have to be really careful, because right now they got technology out here that's really, it's getting better and better.
Say if you're in jail, you ain't one of my relatives.
Yeah. But, you know, things happen, you know, so we have to be really careful. And you know your kids when they call you, and there's certain characteristics, so when you listen to it, you be like, nah, that ain't them. And then once you call them, you be like, I ain't in jail, what you talking about? So y'all be careful, that stuff is out there. So we're gonna continue on. We're still talking about the tongue. Let's turn over to James chapter 3. We'll start at verse number 2. James 3 and verse number 2, and we'll go all the way down to number 10. The Bible says, for in many ways we offend all. If any man offended not the word, the same is a perfect man, and is able to bridle the whole body. Behold, who put bits in the mouths in the horse's mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they are so great and are driven of fierce winds, ye are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever they govern listed. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasts of great things. Behold, how great is a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, and it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set fire of hell. For every kind of beasts and birds and of serpents and the things of the sea is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made of after the solitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessings and cursings. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. So it's telling us we have to be careful with this little small thing, this tongue. Because I remember, especially in the military, guys, they go on these fishing trips, this and that, and they come back with all kind of stories. And I'm like, you ain't catching no fish. You just trying to impress me. And it's just that little small stuff. And a lot of times, our words are so powerful. There are wars start on words. There are families that have been beefing for years over some small words. That's how powerful they are. And our words are so powerful. Y'all know God, he spoke the word into existence, right? He spoke it. And it happened. It wasn't no delay. So we have to be really careful with those words. Laura?
I was watching something on television. It was a talk show, and this psychologist was talking about how middle school children, little children, a 12-year-old, are telling their classmates they need to kill themselves. And they had this one mother whose little girl hung herself because her classmates bullied her and told her she needed to die. And she killed herself, and her mother lost her little girl. And that was all because of words.
Yep. Yep. It happens all ages.
Yeah.
And it's a new generation now, because they got all the cyberbullying. Now I know I'm a little bit older. When we went to school, we had that stick on our shoulder, knock my mom off the shoulder. You might get into a little scuffle, but you survive the next day. But now you can't really play with people, because now people are coming and shooting up schools. And you have to take that serious, because they actually doing it. And it's pretty sad where we got people we look up to, which is some of the teachers, they fighting the students. And guess what? The students are fighting the teachers. So it goes both ways. But I think the teacher have the greater responsibility, because they supposed to be in charge of the classroom. And they're going to be held to a higher standard. But the kids, they only going to let you get away with what they can. And even too, on that same note, we have to really, it starts at home with the parents. Because if they get with home, guess what? They're going to bring it to school. So the teachers are not the parents, but sometimes the parents want the teachers to be the parents until they start parenting, then it's a problem. So we have to be really careful of all that. But I'm glad you brought it up, Lori. And let's continue on. Now we're going to talk about, let's go down to page number 4, the sins of the tongue. The first one is lying and deception. Let's turn over to Ephesians 4:25. Let's start at 23. Just let me know when y'all got it. Ephesians 4, and we'll start at verse number 23. And the Bible says, and being renewed in the spirit of the mind, and that ye put on a new man, which after God is created in righteousness and holiness. Wherefore put away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor, and we the members of each other. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down on your wrath, neither give place to the devil. And it tells us, you putting on this new man. Put away lying to each other. Tell each other the truth. If you can't tell people the truth, tell them why. Like people say, I'm going to show up. If you give somebody your word that you're going to show up, at least show up. And if you don't show up, call them or send them a text and let them know something. Because I remember, Gary, I don't know if you remember back in the days, just growing up, when somebody, y'all want to make an agreement, right? What's the one thing that we did?
Shake your hands right.
There you go. And you can take that to the bank. But nowadays, you better have a contract. Because people, they don't keep, I ain't going to say everybody, but a lot of people don't keep their word. And then all of a sudden, they start coming around because of that. guilt complex. Yes,
My
sir.
cousin, well, first cousin was a multimillionaire, builder in the
Mhm.
Hearst and area. And I understood at his funeral that he always had an agreement and a handshake. He probably
Mhm.
couldn't do that today, but,
Yes.
you know, that's-
Oh, yes. Yeah, I appreciate that, Brother Gary. And I just got a little insert too. If y'all look at this one, we're gonna talk about the lies and the reason why lies are so easy to tell. The first one, lies are more sensational. That means people want to make the story more sensational than it really is. Lies tend to be dramatic, surprising, and emotionally charged, which makes the item more shareable. The truth is often boring, slow, or nuanced. An example, a celebrity caught in a scandal spreads faster than a celebrity quietly donates to charity. See, people, they want that sensation, and then they want you to think that they got everything going on. But a lot of times when you look at really what's going on, they don't have it like that, y'all. Hollywood is a facade. It's not really like that. The second one, emotional fuels virality. People are more likely to share information that triggers strong emotions like outrage, fear, excitement. Lies often tap into those emotions better than facts.
Sounds like the news.
It is. And y'all ever notice the news, if you, like the good news, that don't sell. They say whatever bleeds is gonna be at the headlines. Because the good news don't sell. And they have to have everything that excites emotions like outrage, road rage, any kind of rage. The news is always right there. And if people really thought about it, that's less than 1% of the population. But they make you think that's everybody. If you just continue to watch that, you start thinking everybody is bad. But it's not. It's their job to, what the worst is to report on it. And a lot of the news stories, you have to really look into it because y'all know who control the news, right?
You know what goes hand in hand with that is repeat a lie often enough and people will come to believe it's the truth.
Oh, yes.
that's what Adolf Hitler said.
Yep. And he used that propaganda and had it pumping through the speakers 24 hours a day. And they started to believe it, even though it wasn't true.
And you know, that goes right to the conspiracy theories that swirl around, the conspiracy theories that people believe, and, you know, it's hard to refute that, you know, once they've got it in their heads. What I mean is it's hard to get them to realize the truth.
Because we got to think nowadays, where do most people get their information from?
Social media.
Right here.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not. Some people just do stuff just to get clicks or to get likes. It's not even true. But if you don't investigate it, you think it is. And it's so much, y'all, and I'll be like, this can't be true. I mean, if it don't sound right, 9 times out of 10, it's not right. And they do it for fear. Y'all know those stories where they try to get you to, they did it out of fear. To keep people afraid. But the biggest thing, a lot of people, you tell them to do the research. What do people research? Where do they go?
Social media.
It starts with a G. Google. That's about the extent of research they're doing. But you can put something on Google that's not true. Like one guy told him, don't go to Wikipedia. Because I can put something in Wikipedia right now. And people, it's true. And it ain't true. We have to get back to really accurate thinking and get back to rightly dividing the word.
Yeah, well, you know, it comes, now obviously we need to deport the immigrants that are committing crimes, but it has been said so many times, and, you know, we report that, and we make everyone fear immigrants because they think all of them are committing murder and stuff like that, when it's a tiny fraction of 1%. And so the whole, group of people is branded and jeered and mocked and spit on, you know.
Yes,
It's
and it's
awful.
same thing when people say all. That's the same thing. I heard the saying where, I know it, I ain't gonna say everybody heard it, because when you have to be careful when you say all,
Yeah,
y'all ever heard the saying that y'all think y'all the only ones going to heaven?
right, yeah,
That's not even in the Bible,
no.
you know, but it's been out there. And if you hear it enough, people, they start believing it. So we have to always go on what the word says, and that's what the news job is, to convince you to think that way. But if a person really has accurate thought, they look it up. And they don't want people looking up, because once your eyes are open, you can't trick them no more. It's like when you see people, they come out of their beliefs and they be like, all this time, I didn't know that. It's kind of hard to go back. But if people was really honest and then they search the scriptures, they will see. And that's what we're really fighting against, because they've heard this over and over and over, and they didn't do no research. But the next one we have is cognitive bias at work. Humans are wired to look for patterns even when none exists. Look for those patterns. The next one, believe what aligns with their pre-existing beliefs, better known as confirmation bias. Laura, you were just alluding to that. If you've been told something all your life, and then when something happened, you confirm that belief. The next one, they prefer quick answers over complex explanation. So just tell me right now, I don't want to do no research. And I heard people say that all the time. I don't want to read the Bible. It's too complicated. Just tell me what I got to know. But I said, I mean, the Bible says search the scriptures, right? And you see that. But just tell the other one, they say, I just believe what my pastor say. I say, have you looked up the word? But they discourage them from doing it, because once people's eyes are open, it's kind of hard to look back. And the next one, lies are often simpler and more agreeable to a person's worldwide view than the messy truth. It's easier to believe because it sounds good. But you always have to verify. How many people in the room got kids? Okay. So have your kid ever came in and you know they weren't telling the truth, but they wanted you to believe them so bad? But see, my parents, they always verify my story. And my mom, she was like an interrogator. And I'm thinking, how did you know that? You're my son, I know you. So just like that, we have to investigate what people tell us, because they telling you their perspective or their side. You know, so we have to be careful, because it's their side and it's the truth. So we have to always be able to investigate that. And we were just talking about this one. Social media, it amplifies speed. Platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook, the lies get liked, shared, and commented on rapidly. And they had one guy where he was putting out stories, good stories, right? Now, when he was putting out the good stories, he didn't have too many people look at it. But then when he was putting out the story where he was getting evicted, he was getting a divorce, and his kids weren't acting right, he was getting so many likes, y'all. That's because people, they want to see the bad news. They want to see the drama. And they are more comfortable with that drama. So you really have to be careful all that. And the algorithm, they reward engagement, not accuracy. They reward you on getting people to believe something that's not even true. And they have a lot of these brands out here where they want you to promote the brand even though it's not true. I'll give y'all a good example. Y'all ever heard that commercial? You take this pill and you don't have to exercise and you lose 20 pounds. And it just burn off you. So y'all know that ain't right. But they get people to promote that.
Everybody tries it, you know.
Yes, because they want to
So
see
they
it.
got money.
Yep. And if you look at them people, they weren't overweight in the first place. So the pill didn't help them. It's all about getting it in people's mind just to try it. And the last thing, the truth requires verification and context, which slows it down. The truth has to be verified. And the truth doesn't care about emotions. Because once you start verifying, 90% of the stuff is not even true, y'all. Correction is a lie. Correction a lie is hard. Y'all believe that?
Yeah.
To correct a lie?
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing, once you say a lie, it's kind of like, it's so perpetuating. You say a lie, and it's so hard to stop, because you said a lie, you don't want anybody to know that you've lied, but you have to say another lie to keep them from finding out about your first lie. And it's like you can't get out of it.
And you know, you have to do that one to cover up that one, to cover up that one.
Yeah.
But like my parents already told me, if you're telling the truth, you don't have to have a good memory.
That's what I mean.
You know?
You don't have to remember. Yeah.
It's the same thing, but people that, you got some people that's good now.
Yeah,
So you have to
they're good
verify
at
that
it.
story, but you always have to have that cover up to the cover up to the cover up. Right here, once the lie's out there, people might cling to it even after it's debunked. Y'all ever heard that? Even after it's been proven that it's a lie, people, they don't want to let it go because it's been over and over in your head. The correction rarely reaches anyone like the lie did. Like the good works, they don't reach a lot of people. But the bad stuff, it goes a lot. And often the damage is already done. You know, it's just like people have been false accused of stuff. And even though they are out there, you know, they've proven that they are not guilty, their reputation is gone. So lies and the tongue, it is powerful, y'all. And the last one, the truth requires effort. Understand the truth often requires time, research, and critical thinking. Lies are convenient. You don't need to think deeply about them to spread them. So we have to be careful what we spread. And then the first question, is it true? Or does it even need to be spread, you know? A lot of stuff don't even need to be spread, you know, but people do it anyway because it makes them feel good, like, oh, I got one on you. Okay, you know, you don't need to tell everybody, you know, but we have to really be careful of that. Now let's go to the next one. Yeah, we got some time. The next one, cursing and evil speaking. Let's turn over to Ephesians 4 and we'll go down to verse 29 through 31. Ephesians 4, 29 through 31. The Bible says, let no corrupt communication proceed out your mouth, but that which is good to use for edification, edifying, and that may minister the grace of your hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God. Wherefore ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you. Wouldn't it be a better word? Let no evil communication come from your mouth. Because nowadays, people are so loose, they don't care what they say or who hear them. I know some of the stuff I hear, and especially with disobedient kids, my blood, it just boils, y'all, because I remember my mom and dad, they put the rod on me when I disobeyed, but nowadays, only thing you can do, you can look, and then if you say something, you're going to be deemed the villain. Yeah. But you raised them up like that. And then when they get grown, you be like, what happened to them? Well, they was with you 18 years, you tell me. So we have to be really careful when the evil communication, let it be put away from you, and be kind-hearted one to another. That's another thing a lot of people have got away from, it's just showing people kindness.
Right.
It don't cost you nothing to show somebody kindness. Yes, ma'am.
I asked that question last night on my Bible class.
Okay.
I asked that question, about children,
Mhm.
and one of the sisters said, we're not responsible for our children for the rest of their lives. And if
Okay.
something happened, the first thing they're gonna say is, those Alicia's boys. They're not gonna
Yeah.
call my boys out by their name. They're gonna say, those are Alicia's boys.
Mhm.
So if I'm not responsible for my children for the rest of their lives, why did you even bring me up? I didn't do it. I didn't, whether it was good or bad, you know. I'm not even in it, but those Alicia's boys, especially if it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
So my question is, are we responsible? Well, not necessarily responsible,
Mhm.
but better word, are we still engaged with our adult children when they're, even though we did raise them for 18 years, maybe not, for some parents ain't raising their children, they raising themselves. But it still fall back on the parents, cause they are still the household. You know, see, the household, it consists of a broad factor, because in the Bible, those were the house of Jacob, the house
Mhm,
of, and they lived in different tents, but they still was the house of.
Mhm.
And we're living in different dwellings, but it's still the house of. So, you know, and I think she kinda got offended, cause she said, we all got wayward children, and we, you know, she just got, it was ugly. And, you know, I tried to say, well, I'm just asking a question.
Right, right.
I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just asking a question.
I can,
Because that's
I
exactly
guess I'm
what they're
really-
saying.
Yeah, I'll let Brother Gary go and then I'll go.
okay. What the Bible clearly teaches is that we're to bring up our children in the nurture and admonition of the Lord, you know, I think one verse. And if we do that, and no parents are gonna do that perfectly.
Right.
But if they do that, we do that consistently, then once a child reaches age of accountability, meaning when they're grown, you are no longer responsible before God for them. They come to their own conclusions, they make their own decisions, and anybody in the world who blames parents who have really tried to be Christian parents are absolutely wrong.
Yes, and I just got to see.
Even at church.
Okay. That's the parent, right? Now, that is, Brother Gary, I appreciate that, and people in society, they will say the things, you know, those are Alicia's boys, but you have to realize too, when you are accountable, a lot of the stuff, there is consequences for. Because even my kids, you know, they act up. And I just tell them, I'll be honest with y'all, look, we got the life insurance policy. They out there running, they doing this and that. Look, I mean, what can you do? Cause they gonna make their own choices and, you know, they gonna run with whoever they wanna run with. I'll just give y'all an example. When I go and do my exercise, it's a high school over there. I don't wanna name the name of it, but just going around the high school and, you know, they have a bench way in the back where the kids, they smoke the funny cigarettes. And I talked to them, I said, you know what, y'all are better than this. And one of the young men, he was like, you know, I appreciate that because at least you're showing that you care. And he was just following the crowd. And I'm pretty sure his parents, they didn't know they was over there doing that. And the parents now, because they was under 18, if they get caught doing something, they will be responsible for that. But our kids, we never know what they're doing when they're not on our roof. Because I hear parents all the time, oh, my kid wouldn't do that. You don't know what they'll do. Trust and believe. I'm just telling y'all from personal experience. Lex, when they get out there, you never know, but it is, you know what? I tell you what, I knew it was gonna be a good class. What I'm gonna do is stop and we'll finish the second slide, next week, but, I'm gonna just tell y'all, just be careful because those words, they have a way of affecting people the rest of their lives. Even when the person is dead and gone, those words are still alive. So we have to be, like Brother Garrett said, we have to raise our children in the way they should go, and they won't depart. But sometimes nowadays, the kids trying to come back. It's like, you know, we have to just do the best we can. But I definitely appreciate y'all attention on the tongue tonight, and we're gonna continue, Lord's willing, next week. And y'all stay cool out there because we still in the triple digits. And if you're online, please like, comment, and share it out. Appreciate y'all attention.
Mary? Yeah. What I think about that is, when the kids reach the age of accountability, then they're responsible to God. Right? But even when those kids are the tiniest, you have the responsibility to try to teach them things. Their response is totally up to them. You cannot force the response out of them that you want them to get. That's something I've worked with my daughter that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's, so many parents just grieve and grieve and grieve. I didn't bring my child up right. I'm saying, listen. You have a responsibility to teach them and to take them to church and to worship God in spirit and in truth and have them in assembly and do the best you can to be the influence to people. But how they respond to it, even from the earliest age. Some little kids are just restless and just wild and disobedient and rebellious from the birth up. That's not the parent's fault. Okay, and I'm calling that my daughter because she got two girls, one's 10, one's 5, and I'm saying, sweetheart, these are your responsibilities, but how they respond to it is not your responsibility. That's gonna be up to them, all the way up. And by the way, I know you're not his brother because you're too short.
That's it.
You're too short. You're too short. That's what they're doing though. If the kids don't pay up, they're going to family. Yeah, I understand. Here it is, art ladies in the room.
I played it about 3 times.
All right.
She really is.